Alright, so this is part 2 on my manga collection. It's been about 10 minutes. This video will be a little shorter than the last one because one problem I had when recording back then was I never really had a lot of room because it took up a lot of storage on the phone to make videos. But this is the only way I can be able to show off the books. So first I want to show off the brightness is making this a little difficult. But yeah, the Mega Man Gigamix, which I'm aware, I think there's Mega Man Megamix, made by the same person. I never read this series, just because I wanted to collect more of the books. But anything that's Mega Man, I'm down for. I really love the Mega Man series. It's arguably my favorite video game series. Maybe even my favorite fictional series ever. That or Zelda. This one's actually more of a newer book series. Shojin, made by the same creator who made Tokyo Ghoul, which I know for a fact that they are going to make an anime out of this. I don't even know if it's been confirmed yet, but they've only released a few books. I read the first book. I actually really like it. This manga is kind of interesting. And this was the case for a few others, but this one really surprised me because when I saw the name of the artist, usually most manga artists at the very least are of, I don't know how to put this other than they're Asian, whether in Korea, China, Japan. However, weirdly enough, this is a manga, it's only one of the only mangas I've ever seen where it's made by a non-Asian person, and she actually lives in Australia, which I thought was very interesting, just because I'm not used to encountering a manga style series made by someone. And I read the first book not too long ago, and it's actually really good. I know I'm not really explaining the plot of this. I guess in short, it just has to do with this girl was supposed to go to this one school, and then she accidentally just somehow got drifted into this other school that has, like, I can't remember what they call it, steampunk genre. I just like the character designs, and I like the, I don't know, it gave me a teensy bit of Harry Potter vibes to it, which, I like that series. Not much to talk about this one. I don't want to really show much of it. Apparently, that's actually one of the last books of the Tsubasa series, and I didn't know that because apparently it's its own thing. This series, I actually would like to get into this series, but I accidentally got the wrong book because it's the official fan book, and I thought, this was the first book to start out with the series, so I never read it because I thought, this isn't really the kind of book to read. I got this series, Maiko 2010. I actually remember reading this book a few years ago, for mature readers, and I remember getting so angry about a third into it. Oh crap, I forgot, it says mature. I don't remember if it shows anything too mature to show, but I just remember, I guess in short, and this, minor spoiler, apparently she's an android, specifically made. What was it exactly? Let me find the page really quickly. This might be a little annoying to do. I'm sorry. Because you can look at the other books. Gate 7, also made by Clump. A really good series. I really like. I read the first book of Gate 7. I really like it overall. Did I find it? I don't know if I found it yet. This is another book that I kind of messed up on because I knew Captain Harlock was actually a older series, but then when I found out it was more of a, almost like a rebooted version, I wasn't really so much interested in buying anymore because I just want to read the original first and then check out the others. Here it is. I found the line. So with this book, I remember I got to this point. I didn't really get far at all, but Alright, I don't want to show that. I don't know if it showed that. What does it say? So basically, she reveals that the girl right here, it pretty much says, is a robot designed specifically for sex. She is a sex droid. When I read when I read that line, I literally just closed the book and never had any interest of wanting to go any further. I just thought that was the dumbest thing because, again, with something like that, if it's done right, it can work and I could be potentially interested in it, but it's just how that was executed and how it was built up to that was just so dumb. And it's just something that if that's like the main gimmick of the book, I don't want to read anymore. Anyway, Fairy Tale. I actually did not like reading this book. Actually, yeah. I don't have really much to say. I will watch the show because one thing worth mentioning with my manga is obviously it costs money, while with anime, you just have a streaming service and, you pay for how many series they have a month, and it works to be able to experiment on a lot of animes without having to worry about spending too much money. But with manga, I paid like $6 for this and I didn't like it that much, and it's like, well, I don't want to spend any more money, so I'll just watch the show instead. If I really liked it, I would have been willing to pay more. Crescent Moon. I remember really not liking the artwork for this manga. This is actually one of the worst. I don't think it looks really, really bad, but it doesn't look great at the same time. Okay, now it looks better. It's because I didn't have the phone concentrated. Sorry if I'm not talking too loud, or if I am talking too loud or too low. I can't remember so much the plot. It just has to do with these creatures that are connected to the moon, hence why it's called Crescent Moon. And I remember not really caring much for the artwork. There's nothing wrong with it, but it just has... You would have to see for yourself. It's just they look a little goofy at times. I don't know how to pronounce this. Like, I can't really see the words because how it's formatted. Shakugan no Shana. I read the first book of this, and I'm not interested in getting any more of the books because I think this is also originally a light novel. But I liked it. I liked it overall. I wouldn't mind watching the anime, but the main problem is the only place I think might be on Crunchyroll. I don't know. I don't really like watching anime illegally. The only way I'll do it is if I really, really want to watch it, and they don't have it on any other streaming site convenient enough. And that's kind of when you're in the position of, well, what other option do I have other than having to buy it? But what if it never came out in America and there's no official English translation? That's not fun. So yeah, those are the two books. I actually have some Ron My Half books. I actually forgot that I had these. I bought one recently. It's right there. They're the same. Are they made by the same? I don't think they're made by the same company. I think this actually was made before it, because one thing that's interesting, I think, is that before mangas were really just called mangas, I think in the early 2000s, like 2000, 2002, they were actually just called graphic novels, which I think that's kind of interesting. Yeah. I haven't read the Ron My Half series, but it's a series I've been wanting to read so badly, but it's just difficult to get my hands on those series. And I only have a couple of Berserk books, mainly because I've never encountered these books being used. I guess it's just because it's way too popular. And funny thing is, this is actually one of the only books I have that I've never opened. I got this in 2018. Oh crap, I just realized something. I just literally flipped through the pages. it's rated M. Why? Hopefully this video doesn't get striked. It's just because in the beginning of the book there is a sex scene with the main character, which I found something interesting about that scene, where in the long run of the series, that one small irrelevant scene that is the starting point of the series actually kind of heavily contradicts the character's personality and backstory, that a lot of people have just rolled it non-canon, which, can you even do that? There is the massive Tomy book, which this is one of the newer books I got a few months ago. I actually really like this book series overall. It made me really want to get into more of Junji Ito's series. He's made a lot of series. Now, one thing that shocks me is that it's T+. I still can't believe it's T+, because this is one of the most disgustingest books I've ever seen that should be M-rated worthy. I think the grossest chapter was the one where there was just a gory mess in the room, and then they hid it in the alcohol factory, and then they put it in the alcohol, and then they started drinking the alcohol because it tastes really good. I was actually feeling nauseous just reading that and even seeing it. This series, there's a little funny story about this. So first of all, there's an anime of this series. It's also rated 18. Well, for a couple of them, because these two are rated 18, but then this one's rated 16. Sometimes it does that. But I really didn't like this book. The same thing with the other book. I read, I think, a good chunk of the first book. Like, I think I read like the first third, maybe first half at best. And I remember I kept getting annoyed because a panty shot every now and then, it's like, funny, humorous, or maybe made to be sexy. It's like, okay, whatever. But in the book, every single page and shot had a panty shot, and it started getting on my nerves because I don't really get the joke, or if this is just made to be kind of like attractive, but I just kept getting annoyed because it's like, what am I trying to read? And what's funny is I got these books over 3 years ago, and there was 8 books at the store I go to a lot, and I refused to buy any more of them. But this is the only book series, I think, at the store that even after over 3 years, they still have the other books there. It's like, do I have to show pity? Do I have to? I'm almost going to buy 4 through 8 just because I feel bad for those books. They've been there for over 3 years. No one's buying them. These books I actually got the last time I went there, which was about less than a month ago. I've always wanted to read this series. Why? I don't know. It just looks kind of cool. Also rated M. Why am I mentioning rated M? I don't know. I just don't really have a lot of rated M books. That's all. More Magical Night Radio. However, I think this is an early version, because I realize a lot of the early manga that came out in America, graphic novel, they made these books, and it's just another dead giveaway is that the book is made to be more of a Western format, other than being the other way around. I can easily do both. It's just interesting, worth noting. But yeah, I have 1, 4, and 5. But to my knowledge, the other smaller ones are the exact same book. It's just this is a different publisher. In fact, I think this is the same publisher that did the Ron My Half books. Oh no, it was Tokipop. Oh, interesting. Wow, this is taking a very long time. Alright, Dragon Ball. I don't think I need to say anything other than that. And then this was actually the book that I actually tried out. Aioryoshi. They actually had all the books there for a long time, and I just wanted to experiment. I just basically got the first 3-in-1 because I thought that was the best price. Can't show this book either. Even though it's 16 plus, it actually does show breasts in it. However, I think the reason why they can get away with showing breasts in the 16 rated book is because it's not made to be sexual in any way. It's mainly made to either look at it as beauty or just humorous, that's all. Alright, on to the next batch. Okay, I'm back. It's been a few minutes. Alright, I have to somehow do this in the next 5 minutes, so let's see how this goes. Just another Run My Half book. That's the first one, I think. I Love You. I haven't read this one, but this is actually made by the same person who made the Love Hina and Negima books. I do have a couple of duplicates. I actually have more than one of these because I just accidentally bought them, forgetting that I had another one. This one's a pretty big book. Let me just mention really quickly that a lot of these books that I buy, I don't really buy them for what they are targeting to. I buy them just because, I look and I'm like, oh, this looks kind of cute. I'll buy it. I showed it to my mom when I first got it, and she was flipping through the pages without me really looking into it because I just like going in very blind. And I remember she apparently saw a page that was very, I don't know if provocative is the right word, but I just... but I was like, yeah... I don't know, I just experiment with books. I've never heard a lot of these series, but that's the whole point. Yeah, some of these books, the ones I just showed not too long ago, one thing worth noting is that the artist and story writer for this is Yu Watase. I actually have been buying a lot of her books because I didn't realize she made a lot of different manga series. This is another one of hers. She's made a lot of stuff. She made Alice 19th and another series, which I don't think I can see it at the moment, but yeah, she's made a lot of series, and that kind of makes me interested in more of this stuff. This series, I remember I saw a little bit of the anime or the OVA. It's specifically the OVA that looks very interesting, but this is actually a pretty old manga. I think this manga was published in 2000, and it's really cute. I like the character designs, and it just seems like a very vibrant series. So I'm very interested into reading that eventually. It takes me a long time to get to these series a lot of times. Black Bullet, which is actually a light novel, I actually watched the anime and it was really, really good. Another Vampire Hunter D book. It's the only book I have a Full Metal Panic, the light novel, but same thing, it's pretty much just mainly text, but it does have some pictures to it. What else is there? I recently got the Magical Index light novel, which is the original, like the original version. Whoops. Ugh. It's kind of sticking. Yes, some of the books are kind of a little sticky. It's the first book of that. Run My Half. I don't know why I bought another book of this. I'm just that interested in wanting to check out the series. Now, I bought this book. This was a one-shot. I think that's what it's called, where they only make one book. And it was made by Matsuri Hino, the same artist who made Vampire Knight. And as soon as I saw the artwork, I immediately knew it had to have been hers. Strawberry 100%. I can't remember which YouTuber said this anime's amazing. I can't remember if it was the Anime Man, but he said this is like one of the best series of what type of genre it is. So I'm interested in it. Golden Time, which I just realized like today that the person who made Toradora is the same person who made Golden Time, which I have seen all of the anime of Golden Time, and I actually really like that series, and I have read that book, and it's really good. The Ace Attorney, which I have yet to play the games, which if I was committed to me originally planning on playing it, I would have played it several years ago. Majora's Mask, which I actually have 2 copies. This was my first copy of it that I bought back in, I don't remember when, it was many years ago. Another book I bought recently. I bought it randomly just because it was only $3-something, and I've been watching the anime of Saint Seiya, and I really like the series. I'll read that book one day. Chronicles Curse of the Sword. I remember the series wasn't, I mean, this book wasn't too bad, but I didn't really care for it enough where I want to read another book. Got some Monica Magica books, which I only have the first two, but I would really love to read the series soon. Finished watching the anime again for the several time, so I'm really excited to, my thumb, ow, but I'm really excited to read the books and try to continue the series. Durarara, always wanted to check this series out. Wait, why is this the second one? Wait, where's the first one? I'll have to pause and check that out in a minute. Anyway, there's only a couple of books left. There's Dr. Slump, which was actually Akira Toriyama's first major series that became a huge success. And then I have the manga version of Index. I just like the series. I've been rewatching the first season again. And that's it. I'm now going to be stressed out for a minute because I don't know where the first book of Durarara is. So yeah, that's the end of this episode, and well, yeah, it's probably going to take more than one day. Bye-bye.